Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This is the Weekly Pint. It's not a show, but it is a happy hour, which means hopefully you've got something in your glass that you can share with us. You don't have to actually share it with us. It's a virtual happy hour. You share it just verbally with us. You tell us what you're drinking, and then we tell you what we're drinking, and then it's kind of like we're drinking together. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense to you if you're new at this thing. Hopefully if you're new to this thing, you're doing it live with us right now. Well, welcome. If you're catching it later, make a note on your calendar. We usually do this every Monday night, sometime around 9:30-ish. I say ish because sometimes life gets a little complicated and and it's late. But it can't be late if it's not a show. So that's why it all works. Let me scroll backwards here and see what it is you guys are drinking. Let's see. Chris is having Saber-Tooth Tiger from 2022, back when the can art was proper. Oh, were those sweet black cans with? Oh yeah, I loved those. Says it actually aged well. I think that's something that people don't often appreciate. Like, yes, IPAs are supposed to be drank fresh. I won't argue that point at all. But sometimes they do actually kind of age and become interesting, almost barley wine-like. Sometimes they hold up way better than you think they're going to, and some of the hops do hang on. I have a couple IPAs that I'm hanging on to just for science purposes, just to see how they do age. Josh is finishing up a Grainworks Oktoberfest, opening up a Rabin's Rift Sway. I have one sitting here, but I'm not going to drink it on the show. It's just still sitting on my desk from before. Let's see. Julia's having a fruited IPA from Urban Artifact and Fatheads collaboration. Marco is driving home. Let's see. Jeremy is having a West Side Helles. That's a good beer. Eric just finished a Sam Adams Oktoberfest, also a great beer. I'm really enjoying Sam Adams Oktoberfest this year, which we'll talk about a little bit tonight. Let's see. Ryan is having Oktoberfest from Yellow Springs Brewery. Delicious. I would love to get my hands on that one. There's a lot of Oktoberfest that I really need to try sometime. Welcome. As I was saying before, if you're new to this, if you are listening after the fact, if you're watching the video, tune in live. If you're listening to the podcast, watch the video and tune in live. Either way, like, it's more fun this way, us together, like we're drinking together. And in fact, we're going to drink together. I need a drink. I have an empty glass, which is always a very sad-looking thing. So we're going to put something in it. And tonight I've got something. This has been sitting on the bar for, I have no idea how long. I have like a whole big like box full of like little bottles that I'm going to start diving into just to get rid of some of them. And this one, this is called Dr. McGillicuddy's root beer. I have some other Dr. McGillicuddy's. I think that they are like apple pie flavored or something. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like moonshine or if it's supposed to be like schnapps or what exactly. I do know that it's the original formula is what it says. World famous since 1891. Intense root beer. I didn't see the intense. It's not just root beer. It's you're not going to be able to see that. It's not going to focus close enough. I don't know if you can see that on there. It's intense root beer. Not just regular root beer. Great. It's only 23% alcohol by volume, so I don't know what's intense about it. Maybe just lots of roots and beers. It's a product of Canada, and it contains caramel color. I mean, that was probably a given when you look at this. All right, we'll see. I anticipate that this won't be bad. Chris says, I have a small bottle here, but it's Macallan 12-year in it. Yeah, I've got better small bottles, but those aren't as fun to watch and to pontificate about. All right, let's see if this Dr. McGillicuddy, whoever he is, if he's a real person, knows what he's talking about. See if his intense root beer is actually intense or if it's just sugar. Because it looks like it's going to just be sugar. All right, let me get my nose in here. Diving in. Oh, God. Whew. Yeah, it tastes or it smells like root beer syrup. That's what it smells like. Good Lord. Oh, who comes up with this? Like, why do people do this? Like, this is not meant to be what things are supposed to smell like. All right. Maybe it just needs a minute. Let's see. If I can get past like the the bad part of it, underneath of the bad part, the root beer does kind of smell good. But like it's like root beer mixed with bad. Okay. Eric says it sounds like grade A snake oil. That's what I'm hoping for. That would be the entertaining part. All right, I'm gonna jump in here and I'm gonna see. It's definitely very sweet, but surprisingly, yeah, it's not bad. That's actually pretty shocking how kind of middle of the road it is. Ryan says, I bet he's not even licensed to practice medicine. He's like a doctor of drinkology or something from Bob's College. You know what? That's not bad. I stand corrected, Dr. McGillicuddy. You made something tasty. That's okay. I mean, it doesn't smell great, but it does taste pretty good. Just as a reminder, as you're tuning in, this episode is sponsored by Brew Ash. If you guys have not heard about Brew Ash, I encourage you to go over to thegnarlygnome.com where I've got an article written about Brew Ash and what it is and why you need to go. They are sponsoring this episode so we can help get the word out to people like you so that you can come drink with me at Brew Ash. There is a QR code on the screen. If you scan that, it'll take you to the website and you can learn more about it. Not my website. It'll take you to their website. That's bad marketing on my part. But I do encourage everybody to go hang out at Brew Ash. It's free. It's at the park. You just go hang out. If you want to drink, obviously you have to get drinks, but you don't have to. You can also run, but you don't have to do that either. I will not be running. Chris says, I bet he doesn't claim Tylenol causes autism. Wow, we're not even going there tonight. I try as much as I can to avoid several topics on this show, and politics is definitely one of them. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but tonight we will be avoiding. Yeah, like I don't mind this. If you I bet if you put this over ice, it would actually be very drinkable. It's not like this is not a finely crafted beverage, don't get me wrong. But it's kind of tasty. And I think that sometimes there's room for beverages like that in our lives. We can drink things that are just kind of tasty. Chris says we're over ice cream. Ooh, that's a great point. As like a ice cream float, this would be fantastic. No, I can't do that easily. I don't have any ice cream sitting here in the studio. Maybe that's the next upgrade. We have the beer fridge over here, and then maybe over here we go ice cream freezer. I could just keep like ice cream sandwiches sitting down here. Oh, man, that'd be great. Start off every episode with some booze, then move to an ice cream sandwich, and then progress to drinking beer. That's a great idea. Chris says with Bailey's. Ooh, maybe. You could like come up with some kind of fun little like root beer float like shot with this. Maybe like some vanilla vodka and get it really cold. Yeah, I think that could be pretty good. Julia says beer fridge, ice cream freezer, and a hot dog roller. You'd never have to leave the basement. Yeah, there is the tubular meat fridge out in the other room, which has a surprisingly large number of pickles in it right now. I have a large pickle supply down here. It counts as food, right? Mm. Okay, that was not a bad one to start off with. Okay, I'll accept that. Um, that's probably not going to be the best thing I drink tonight, though. Um, I feel like this camera angle is all messed up. I feel like it's too low, and I keep feeling like I need to shrink down. Chair's as low as it goes, or scoot really far back. But then I feel like I'm just really far away. This is just messing me all up tonight. Why is there always something that just isn't the way it's supposed to be? Chris says that I've had some great shots recently with chasers of pickle juice. I've never really loved the pickle juice chaser. I like pickles. I don't hate pickle juice, but I don't really want it. I don't really want it. Julia says those are tubular veggies. Yeah, I guess so. All right, let's open up a beer before we move into some of the topics for the week, although I need to pull some notes up before I do that so that I know what I'm going to talk about. And there is one that I am not talking about tonight. I have to make sure I don't accidentally hit that button. That would be bad. But first, let's get a beer. Actually, now that I think about it, we should do 2 beers. Everything's falling apart now. That's right. Let's do a Oktoberfest Quest showdown. We're a little behind on where I want to be with some of the showdowns, so we're gonna do one tonight. All right, let's. Okay, this is technically not that you guys care, but this is technically round 2 that we're drinking right now. Round 1 is not done, but this is a showdown from round 2. It gets very, very confusing as we get to this point in the competition because we're still waiting on a couple beers to make their way into the fridge. So round 1 is not done, and it won't be done for a few more days at least. But we're going ahead into round 2. And today we have Esoteric's Oktoberfest. Esoteric, great brewery. They are over in Walnut Hills, I believe. Let's see who they battled to get to where they are. Let's see. All right, round 1. Esoteric knocked out 50 West to move on, and they are now taking on a huge contender, one that I was very eager to try this year. Rheingeist Franz. You guys have heard of this little brewery called Rheingeist. They battled. Oh, they took out Wiedemann in the first round to make it to where they are now. So it's been a heated competition so far. Let's get these in a glass before they get too warm. Although a little bit of warming is not a bad thing. I have found that, especially when you're trying to compare beers like this, I like them a little closer to room temperature. You can find more things that you don't find otherwise. All right. Esoteric is on my left. Rheingeist is on my right, which would be opposite for you on the screen. But we'll put them like this so it's a little easier to see. All right. Rheingeist, Esoteric. Just looking at them Rheingeist is a hair darker. Yes, please, everybody, submit your bets on which one's going to take this. I think, if we're judging by past competitions, Esoteric is the favorite in this competition. But it's this has never been the version of Rheingeist that has been in the competition. This is a new recipe because of the yeast. So we'll see. Rheingeist is definitely a little bit darker. However, I am not calling it a Märzen. I would call it still a Festbier. All right, let me get my nose in here. All right. Let me read about this, too. So this is Esoteric's Oktoberfest Festbier style lager. They did make a Märzen this year, too. This is commonly served during Oktoberfest celebrations in Germany and the United States, guys. Doesn't say that, though. This Festbier style is light in color, malty, and crushable compared to its Märzen sibling. Perfect for any festival. Prost. 5.9%. It uses Pilsner, Vienna, and Munich malts and crystal hops. All right. And then Franz. We read this one. Didn't we do this one on another episode? Did we do that showdown? It says, Franz is our Oktoberfest brow. Not traditional, but uber German. He's an autumnal brew, a bit of a dreamer, often hiking to the Alps to return brimming with great ideas. Like those brisk hikes in the steep mountains, these Munich and Vienna malts will pump you up. And it is a 5.4%. Okay. Oh, I mean, just off the bat, like I get on the Rheingeist, there is like this really great malty smell that reminds me of walking into a brewery while they're brewing. It smells great. Not that this one smells bad. And maybe this one just definitely smells more balanced, if you can have a balanced smell. I just right off the bat, I don't know how to judge that. If I had to give 1 points on aroma, I don't know if the lighter, kind of more rounded aroma is what I want from a German lager, so that should be the direction I lean. Or if this just clearly I love the way this smells, if that should get the point. Okay. Let's start with appearance. The head on the Rheingeist is sticking around a little longer. That doesn't bother me too much as long as it sticks around. Color is fine on both. There is a spectrum of color that is fine for an Oktoberfest, depending on if it's a Festbier or a Märzen or somewhere in between. So I don't judge too much on that unless it came out, it was, brown or very, very light or something. I might take points off for that in my head. But I think appearance could really go either way. There's a little more clarity in Rheingeist. There's a tiny haze going on here in the Esoteric. That's to style, so don't think that they're doing something wrong. It's still a clear beer. Oh, it's good, too. Yeah, I could drink that hanging out in a fest tent. Nice, full-bodied, malty. That's dead on what I want a fest beer to taste like. Man, I would have loved to have this competing against some of the other fest beers, some of like the Northern Row fest beer or the West Side fest beer. Even if we could get that Sam Adams fest beer from a few years ago back into packaging, would love to see how it did against that. That's a solid fest beer. Ooh, already got the burps coming. All right, let's see how Franz is tasting tonight. Oh God, it smells good. Yeah, that is definitely the best that Franz has ever tasted. It's good. It's malty. Again, good full body, full flavor. That is a great beer. I think I say this, I don't say it every time, almost every time. There's been some bad ones. But these are both great beers. They both deserve to be in this competition. They both deserve to win this competition. They are that good. Obviously, both great breweries. Josh says that the Rheingeist beer looks beautiful. They both look great. The Rheingeist definitely leans a little more Märzen-y versus Fest beer. But I would still call this a hybrid between a Märzen and a Fest beer, which is fine. That doesn't affect the competition at all. It doesn't affect my judging at all. I've got a clear pick. Man, they knocked it out of the park. Making sure that my first instinct is the one I'm happy with. Oh man, that's tough. Again, both great beers, but there can only be one. Like Highlander, one must survive, one must go home sad, and I think for this round and for this year's competition, Rheingeist has been eliminated. Esoteric moves on in the competition. Really solid Fest beer. Great beer. It's got that body that I crave in a Fest beer, which sometimes I think is a little, for some reason, a little difficult for some places to hit. But it's a real pretty beer. Real good beer. There it is. So yeah, congrats to Esoteric for moving on. Now you know what we do. We got to cuvee them. Because if one beer is good, two beers together just have to be better, right? It's got to be. The Voltron of Oktoberfests. Uh-oh. Did I get it? There we go. Is this going to be better? Is this going to be worst? Or is it just going to be about the same? We'll see in a second after that head dies down. Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News says another big upset. It has been a year of upsets. There are, there's been some upsets. I can tell you who is still in the competition. Well, yeah, I can tell you who's still in the competition right now. West Side Fest Beer is still waiting to I'll tell you who's waiting to compete in round one. West Side Fest Beer needs to compete in round one. Let's see. New Ales still needs to compete in round one. Alexandria needs to compete in round one. West 6th needs to compete in round one. Braxton, Warped Wing, Fabled, Municipal, MPH, Esoteric's Märzen. I believe that's it. And we are only taking the top 32. So some of those may not compete. BJ's is in there too, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be at the bottom and not make it through. We'll see. Those need to compete in round one still. That have moved on to round two that still need to compete. Wandering Monsters, Narrow Path, Northern Rose, Schwester, Fretboard Rockin' the Rhine, Mad Tree Ziegler, Sonder Oktoberfest, and Wooden Casks Oktoberfest are all in round two waiting to compete. Chris says Municipal's canning theirs. A very limited amount there were cans. As far as I know. I still have to double check that and get over there. But yeah. And then we have we now have 2 beers that have moved on to round 3. That is this one, Esoteric. Not this one. This is a Voltron, but Esoteric. This one that we just drank. And then Sam Adams Oktoberfest has moved on, knocking out Grainworks. They are now in round 3 also. And this is the first year that I'm trying this, and I'm going to try to have both round 3 and the finals be blind. Eric says the mixes between 2 different styles seem to pull the best from both. 2 fest beers don't improve each other. That's kind of been my experience too. If you get a Märzen and a fest beer and you combine them, it becomes better. That's been my experience. All right, let me see if it's any good. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's, well, no. It's good right until the end, and then there's like this weird little off flavor thing that happens for some reason. It has something in there. Too much of something. It's good, but it's not better than the 2 separate. Okay, let's move on here. There's a couple news stories I wanted to hit on. Some of these are short and quick and not really that exciting. And so then some of them are, I think, very exciting. Let's get in here. There's a new number 1. Michelob Ultra is now the top-selling beer in the country. It has dethroned Modelo. Modelo had taken the spot from Bud Light, who held it for a lot of years. Modelo took it over. And now Anheuser-Busch, AB InBev, after all of the chaos surrounding Bud Light that knocked it off of its top spot, has found a way to get right back in there with Mich Ultra, like the most watery, light, miserable beer, mainstream beer that exists. This says a lot about the state of where beer is right now. I find it interesting how Mich Ultra is positioning itself, or how it's marketing itself, I should say. They are using things that we are seeing work with other brands right now. They are leaning really, really hard into connecting with people in certain spots, like sports, for instance. They are, I don't even know what this means, but they are the NBA's first worldwide exclusive beer sponsor. I don't know what that worldwide beer sponsor. What is that, and how much does that cost? They're sponsoring the World Cup. They're sponsoring the upcoming Olympics in LA. They're leaning really hard into meeting people that they think are their consumers where they are, and I think that a lot of brands have gotten away from that for a while. They're reaching into these places that they want to get the consumers instead of understanding who their consumers are and then going there to meet them. I hope that makes sense. Marco's cracking open a West Side IPA. Good choice. But I find it interesting. It's none of it's shocking, but it's just what are we doing? Like, when are we going to see like a real great beer brand get back up there? It'll happen at some point, I guess. But will it be in my lifetime? Will it be in my kid's lifetime? I don't know. How great would it be if there was a day where, I mean, it's not going to be something like Truth or, like a craft beer, but how great would it be if it was something that like actually had some kind of substance to it? Even if it was something like, I don't know, Yingling. Like, even if it was Yingling. Yingling is say whatever you want about the Yingling family. That's a whole separate argument, but the beer itself is true to its roots. It's a regional brand that somehow managed to survive because of where they were. I can get behind that more than I can get behind some kind of watery whatever Mick Ultra is. It's not even a light beer. Like it's beyond that. Like it's just this. Ugh. It would be great. It would be really nice. Chris said I had a regular Budweiser the other day at an event. It's been a long time. At an event, it's a whole different experience too, or like especially if it's an event where you're outside or something, you're not really gonna sit and kind of get that beer for what it is. I would like to go grab a Budweiser and just kind of sit down and taste. Maybe I'll do that on one of these episodes. I'll get just a regular old Bud Heavy and I'll drink it and I'll see what it's actually what it actually tastes like. Where was I? I was just out at lunch one day, and I had just finished reading some kind of it was the Brief History of Lager, which is a great book. I've got a whole page up on the website somewhere kind of talking about why I love that book and why you should buy it, with a link that is an affiliate link. So if you find that and then you go to it and you buy the book through that link, I think I get like 4 cents or something, and that's pretty cool. It's not actually 4 cents. It's actually more than that, I think. Amazon actually pays their affiliates pretty well considering. But great book. And there was one day I just finished the chapter about Heineken and kind of got obsessed with Heineken for a week. And I got a book, what is Beer Blast, I think, by Philip von Munching Jr., about kind of their role with Heineken, getting it into the United States and then marketing it and letting it become what it was. And I was like, oh, you know what? Like I haven't had a Heineken in a long time. So then I just ran and I found a Heineken on draft and I sat down and I drank it and it was actually kind of good. Let's see. Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News just cracked open. Well, didn't just crack it open. Mentioned earlier on this chat. Now we're here on this chat. I am watching. Says Double Astral is delicious. The complete opposite of whatever Mick Ultra is. I can definitely agree with that. But yeah, this is the thing that gets me about this, is that it is just a complete and in-your-face representation of what beer looks like today. I mean, if people aren't drinking Mick Ultra, they're drinking seltzers or RTDs or cocktails or booze or just something that is just very not craft beer. And that's fine. Drink what you like. Northeast Ohio Craft Brewer News says, I like to jump around to see if you're paying attention to both chats. I'm trying. I don't think there's a way to get both chats together. I still have not found a way to do it. I could put this over there. It would be difficult, but I could do it. Anyways, that's this news. Mick Ultra, not number one in our hearts, but number one in grocery stores and the market. Just convey them. Mick Ultra and Double Astral. Man, I think if you mix those two beers together, it rips a hole in the space-time fabric of the universe, I think. Moving on. This is a good one. This is a little longer news story, and this is kind of the real meat of the show. Oktoberfest Zinzinnati is over, and we're gearing up for a couple other local Oktoberfests. We've got Sonder's Oktoberfest this weekend. I believe Braxton Union is throwing their Oktoberfest this weekend. It's going to be a good weekend to get out and enjoy some Oktoberfests. But I want to talk about Zinzinnati. So, number one, I've got to put it out there. One of the reasons I'm drinking my Oktoberfest out of Sam Adams Oktoberfest glasses is because I was invited to come hang out with the Sam Adams folks this weekend. And that means another meet and greet with Jim Cook, who is always just a ton of fun to hang around with, and always a great conversation. He is up for whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to ask him about, and he does not hold back. And so before I get into kind of the Oktoberfest breakdown, I'll tell you what I wanted to talk to Jim Cook about. Well, a couple things. For anybody listening to the audio show, I'm drinking. So one of the biggest things that I wanted to pester Mr. Cook about was the Cincinnati brewery. Chris says, not the beers. Do not cuvee the beers. You cuvee the feeds. Derek wants to know if Jim was toasted as usual at Oktoberfest. You know, sometimes he seems like he's toasted, and I don't think he actually is. I think he's just always kind of that way. It's always hard to tell. He is always pretty much the same, I can say that. Every time I've ever gotten a chance to talk to him, which maybe is just times where he's toasted. So earlier this year, there was a lot of news about the West End and this property that Sam Adams bought. And I did a whole bunch of content on it and kind of showed where this property was. When they started buying up pieces, I made it very clear, my opinion, that they were going to start buying up the whole thing and connect it to the brewery, which they did. The biggest thing, though, that kind of caught a lot of people off guard was that, according to Sam Adams, this is space for semi-trucks. It is a truck holding area and staging area, and there are some people out there here in town that claim they know people at Sam Adams that say no, there's something else going on here. Eventually, they're going to build this big THC facility when THC is legalized in the United States, and that's going to be here in Cincinnati, and that's really what it's for. So I asked Jim. I asked him about it. They have a what I'll call a very healthy THC business in Canada with a product they call Teapot. It's doing great. It is ready to just be ported over here to the United States once it's legal here, and to go hard on it and try to make that the nationwide THC brand. And I think it's a smart move. They've never said they plan on doing that, but that would make a lot of sense, and track with kind of how they typically would do things in that situation. I don't think that's what they're planning here. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think that you need to build a facility to manufacture these products. And I don't think that you will need to build a facility to do that. I think that their current facility is more than capable of doing that. Which, for anybody that had this theory before, write this down in your notes. Jim Cook said, no, it's just for trucks. He said, we are hitting such a bottleneck right now because we have so many different SKUs coming out of that building that are all being loaded on the truck at different times. And these trucks have to park 5 miles away from the brewery, and most of the loading is happening early in the morning before the brewery is really kind of back up and running for the day. And it's just becoming a pain in the butt. He said that they are more than capable of producing whatever they need to produce in the future out of that brewery right now. The amount of money that they've spent upgrading the brewery and preparing for that is insane. And if you've ever taken a tour of it, you can see that it's insane, the money that they've put into this place. It doesn't make sense, actually. It would have made more sense if they wanted to be in Cincinnati to just go, 4 or 5 miles out of town and build some big, giant, brand new building that could just house all of it. But they are so dead set on being in that historic brewery. It warms my heart every time I think about it. I absolutely love that Sam Adams is here in town and how much respect they give to this city and being a part of it. But I will go on record and say that no, I do not think there will ever be a separate THC facility that is built in place of this this truck staging area. I think it's really just a boring truck staging area, and that's all it's ever going to be. Ryan says Jim wasn't toasted, he was just a little pickled. And then he says, but that man loves his Boston lager. He does. He absolutely does. There is only one time, I think, that I have two times that I've ever, there are two times, I can tell both stories. Two times that I've seen him with something else in his hand. One time was right after the Cincinnati tap room opened. There was a media night, and he came in for that, and he did his big presentation, and then right afterwards, as everybody was leaving, he walked over and he sat down at the bar, and he started getting samples of every single one of the beers that were brewed in-house. So I saw him drink something else that night. Second time, he gave a tour of the production facility. This was they were planning on starting to do these tours kind of as a special thing like they're doing now. They had never given them before and raffled off a handful of spots for this first tour of the brewery that was going to be led by Jim Koch. And I somehow snuck my way onto this tour. I did not win the raffle, but I snuck my way on, and I got on this tour. And halfway through the tour, the whole time he just, the same thing. He carries his perfect pint glass of Boston Lager with him, and halfway through it ran out, and he just, where he was, he stopped and he looked around, and he found the closest spot that had the little tasting ports from the tanks, and he called somebody over, and he's like, what's what here? And I think they were all like summer ale or something at the time, and they were not carbonated. They were still fermenting. And he looked at it, that'll work. Poured himself a sample of uncarbonated summer ale, and that was what he carried the rest of the tour. So yes, that man loves his Boston Lager, but I have seen him drink something else twice. He is the thing that I love about Jim Koch is that Jim Koch actually loves beer. And one of the other things I talked to him about at this meet and greet happy hour thing was his coming back in as CEO of the brewery. He was CEO. It was probably 15 years ago at this point. And when this last CEO left, he reassumed that role, which I think he's 79 years old, something like that. And like he's not a young guy. So I asked him, this coming back in, is this really what you want to do? At some point, don't you want to just kind of stop working? And he laughed and he said, well, I never really left. I'm always there. I'm always around. I'm definitely not there in the day to day. But then I'm paraphrasing here, so don't quote me. He said, but with this last person leaving, I just needed to do this. This was what I needed to do. And I pushed a little bit to kind of understand what that meant and didn't get very far. But my interpretation of this is and again, this is my interpretation. As this industry keeps changing and keeps evolving, and things like this Ravens Riff Sway, which is a great product, but as things like this become what people are drinking and what people want to drink, we need more and more people like Jim Koch at the helm of their breweries to push something else and to find places for something else and to show people that there is something else that they can enjoy that they might not know that they are going to enjoy. Sometimes you have to guide people into craft beer. I'm a firm believer, and like I love products like that. I love distilleries. I love cocktails. There are some good seltzers out there that I've kind of enjoyed. Like there are products that are not beer that I think are great. That Dr. McGillicuddy's was just fine, but I miss this time where you walked into a brewery and it was a brewery. And if you didn't like beer, that was fine. Nobody made fun of you. Nobody insulted you. Nobody told you to go somewhere else. They said, okay, we can work with this. What do you like? Oh, you like coffee. All right. Oh, that's an easy one. And then guide you into the dark side. And, we've got this really great stout that has coffee in it. Actually, it's, there's a roaster right down the road. Have you ever heard of so-and-so? No. Well, you got to go there after you go here. A great little coffee roaster. They've got a little tasting shop there, and you can take your coffee home with you. You got to go there. But this stout has their coffee in it. You got to try this. And somebody will try. Oh, I didn't know beer could taste like that. I miss that. And there are people out there that are still passionate about that side of what a craft brewery is. And Jim Cook is one of those people. He's always going to guide you to Boston Lager for good reason. It's a good beer. So I'm happy to see him back in charge. Again, not that he ever wasn't in charge. He just was not day-to-day CEO. Oh man, I'm so burpy now. Moving on to Oktoberfest itself. I know I said it last year. I've probably said it every time somebody brought up Oktoberfest Zinzinnati over the last year. This move down to the banks is the greatest thing that has happened for any festival in Cincinnati ever. It is such a good move, and the festival now is. I don't think it could be any. Well, I don't think it could be any better. There are like little things that'll kind of progressively just over time make it better, but as far as like location and the feeling of it, this is absolutely perfect. They have done such an amazing job, and even from last year to this year, there are like little things that are just really, really great. The tents themselves felt a little better this year. They felt a little more fest-like. I loved it. They had some really neat, what I'm calling other activations within the festival itself. So the Stoop Days, which is some kind of like hard soda, had like a little area they set up, and they were giving out free samples and then a bunch of games and stuff set up. I understand that Stoop Days is not a Märzen or a Fest beer, but it was great for the people that just were curious to try something else or wanted something else. The Fireball Blazing Apple, I think that's what it's called. They had a little thing set up there. Obviously, there's Jägermeister all around Oktoberfest. It just felt so natural. It felt so good. Like it, I cannot stress enough how amazing Cincinnati is now. I will never skip it ever again. There are a couple years in the last like decade that I skipped. Like there were some years that I'm like, you know what? Like my wife, my kids definitely aren't going to go down. It was probably just my wife at the time. I don't think I have skipped any since I had kids, but it's hot. She doesn't want to deal with the crowd. I don't really want to deal with the crowd. I'll go to a different one, and just didn't go. That'll never happen again. It is that amazing. Food was great. Food was affordable. Shout out to, I think it was Mick Knowles, had $3 hot dogs all weekend. Come on. Like, granted, I eat some other things that were a little more expensive, but if you just like had a little rumble in the tummy and you needed to fill it up with something, $3 hot dog. Yes. It was so good. Everything about it. Like There are things that I'm sure they will find to make it better. I can't think of something right now to complain about, and that's saying a lot. There's nothing that I would say was bad, and that's a rare thing in this world, especially in a festival that size. Yeah, I'm impressed. Shout out to Oktoberfest Zinzinnati for an incredible year. Let's move on. We're already approaching an hour. Okay, this was interesting local news. March 1st has now entered into self-distribution. I can't say that I am shocked by this news. I can't say that it surprised me, but it is interesting. So if you remember back a month or two ago, it's probably been longer than that now. Time doesn't make sense. It's fine. Ohio Eagle, there's a fruit fly in here, who was the distributor of March 1st and several other local breweries. We'll talk about that. They announced that they are closing. Yeah, well, even that's not true. They didn't announce anything. There was a letter that they wrote to the Department of whatever that legally they have to write to let them know when they're going to be laying off a large number of people. So they had to put this thing out there and say, we're laying everybody off because we're closing. And so then the news got a hold of that and ran with it, that Ohio Eagle is closing and everybody's fired. And Ohio Eagle very quickly ran in and said, no, that's not true. We're not closing. We are actually, we're going to be selling the company to someone else. And the buyer is going to hire everybody. Then it came out that the new buyer is Heidelberg, everybody's favorite local distributor. Shout out to Heidelberg. It's been interesting, and I don't know how it's all shaken out so far or how it all will shake out. But I can tell you that some places, like March 1st, have decided that instead of signing with Heidelberg, they are going to take over their own distribution. So I find it very interesting that on this graphic that they put out, there's a couple things interesting about it. Number one, that they are the future of direct-to-you distribution, which is very fun to say, distribution. Number one, that's interesting. Number two, they, at the bottom, make it pretty clear that it's the home of Astra and Cincinnati Distilling. There is no mention there of beer at all, which, if you've been kind of watching the way this company has shifted and changed over the years, that shouldn't be that much of a shock. There has not been a lot of their beer out there in the market for a while. They've leaned very hard into spirits, and it looks like that's the way things are going to keep going. It's fine. It's fine. I'm a craft beer guy. I like craft beer, and they still make craft beer, but it's pretty clear that their business is leaning very, very hard into the thing that's working right now for them. So good luck with your self distribution, and I'm ready for beer to become a part of that. The beer, if you haven't been for a while, is tasting pretty good right now. Let's see. Moving on. That's the one. the interface for the microphone running into a battery. I don't know. I could just go an extra foot and plug it right into the wall. But I don't. I have it running off this battery right now. There are some things that even I amaze myself that I do. Now I have to sneeze. Sorry. The heck was I talking about? All right. I don't click on this one. I'm allergic to dead batteries. All right, let me make sure that this one is right. Yes. This is, again, very short, quick. I wouldn't even call this news. This is something that's kind of interesting. Charlie Sheen is getting wild AF. He's making an alcohol-free beer. Should clarify, he is not making anything. This is produced by a company that is called... It's in partnership and partially owned by a company called the Silent Group. These people make, from what I can tell, celebrity brands. That's from what I can tell. I haven't done too much digging yet. So they are part owner. He is part owner. And then his agent is part owner, which is weird. And then also it's produced by Harpoon, and Harpoon is part owner. So you can go get yourself some tiger's blood. It's actually called Cold Gold. Yes, Wild AF Cold Gold. And supposedly what he says is that he had been looking for a good tasting alcohol-free beer since he's been sober for 8 years, and he needs something better than what's out there on the market. So he made it. Whatever. I don't know how true that is, how much or any of it is true. But yeah. Chris says they were on Doctor Who, weren't they? I don't get that reference, but sure. Derek says winning. Marco says hard pass. I'll try it. You know what? If it's made by Harpoon, I'll try it. Speaking of tiger's blood, these are a couple other just quick local news stories that I have not written about, but I want to talk about. Grainworks, I think tomorrow, is releasing Tiger's Blood. Brr. They've reached out to all of the Mug Club members. They have a Mug Club called the Parliament. One of the many Mug Clubs that I'm a member of. I should add it all up, how much money I spend on Mug Clubs each year. I probably don't want to. But I'm a member of it. And they sent out this email for people to vote. I did not vote, but everybody else did, and the decision was Tiger's Blood Burr. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow as of recording this. So if you're listening to the audio feed afterwards or the video feed afterwards, I don't know what day, but tomorrow as of now. On the 1st, so that's coming up. That's next week? This is an event that is not really a public event, but they're not closing the tap room, so it's kind of a public event. Mad Tree is doing a release event for this stuff, Raven's Riff. They're gonna have all kinds of fun stuff. I don't know what all is going on in the tap room, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna try to be there. So many other things going on. I'm gonna try to be there. Let's see. Esoteric. I guess they do Kick the Keg promotions. I didn't know that. They're Pilsner right now. You can get $5.50 pints. If you get the last pour, you get a $25 gift card. That's a good deal. Marco says, is anyone going to make a Turf Toe IPA? I hope not. Well, today, speaking of fun news stories, today officially is Sons of Toil's 8th anniversary. How crazy is that? So happy anniversary to Sons of Toil. I think they just celebrated this weekend, but Derek says a tippa, if you will. Good Lord. To tippa. So happy anniversary to Sons of Toil. It's always exciting to see places getting older and continually getting better and growing and evolving and all of that. If you have never been out there, go out there. It's a great time. And other than that, I think that's all I got for you. There's always a lot of great things happening in this city. If you still enjoy going out and drinking a great craft beer, do yourself and everyone else a favor and just go out and drink a great craft beer this week, sometime, anytime, whenever you're comfortable. More specifically, I would say go somewhere that maybe you haven't been before or you haven't been for a long time. Don't go to the same place you always go to. Go somewhere else. Bob says, remember to get your Pint Day beer glass on Tuesday. Yes, that is a great point. In fact, I thought I may. Oh, yeah, I did. Here, look. There we go. Ohio Pint Day. Tomorrow, Tuesday, as of recording this, is Ohio Pint Day. Go to the OCBA's website. Somebody can find a link, I'm sure. And there is a list somewhere of participating breweries. And you can get a exclusive glass, and it goes and helps the OCBA, helps fund what they're doing, and they're an incredible organization. So do that. It's a great glass this year. Good artwork. Ryan says, Street Side 9 years on Saturday. Yeah, it's 9 years. Like, it's insane. Also, to answer a question that somebody had earlier this week about 9 years versus 10 years. Last week on the show, I was showing some labels, and one of them was for the 10th anniversary, which will be next year. Why I thought that was interesting was because I believe what I'm gathering is for their 10th anniversary, Street Side, they're going to be doing things all year long, these collaborations with other breweries that then culminate in some kind of big celebration to help everybody understand. Marco says, I need one. Yeah, I need one too. All right, guys. There's definitely another thing I want to talk about, and I can't this week. I've decided that I'm going to put it off another week, but I'm really struggling with it right now. No, I was gonna say we do it as an after show, but we won't. No. Next week we'll talk about it. It's a fun topic. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out on this thing that we do and making it something that I look forward to every week. And we'll keep doing it. We'll be back next week, Monday, around 9:30-ish. And if you know somebody that likes craft beer, likes especially Cincinnati craft beer, please tell them about it, share it with them, and get them in on this whole thing. In fact, on Mondays, when we go live, if you just on Facebook or wherever you are, if you share out that it's live, share out the live show, I'm pretty sure that there'll be somebody else that jumps on from that. So maybe do that next week. That helps. We got to keep this thing growing. We gotta keep all of this growing somehow, and that's part of the next week topic that we'll talk about. Cheers, everybody. Like I said, we'll be back, and I appreciate you very, very much. Get out there and support the places that you love, because Every dollar that you spend means something to a local brewery or a local business. Your spending power is very, very important. That's really all I have to say about that topic, because otherwise we'll get into another 20 minutes of discussion about losing places that we love. So cheers, everybody. We will see you next week. Shout out to Bascule Brewing, Chris Camboris, R.I.P. Bascule. I can't say that enough. Love that dude, and it's heartbreaking that he's closing his doors.